Welcome back to building a turbo 5.3 LS S475 Sonic Blue Mustang drag car in 10 days or less at this point. Look at this fanciness, guys.
No fancy it is, but works.
Yeah.
It should work.
Looks awesome. Rob fabbed this up. And it's pretty cool because, I mean, there's a joint there. The coupler that goes in the air to water, and then on the other air to water side of the air to water, there's a coupler, and then it's just one pipe that goes to there. So this being a, you know, kind of air to water through the vehicle setup, there's very little business. 2 pipes. I'd love to have these V-banded one day.
You don't even see that one. That's a thing too, right?
It's under the dash, yeah. It's all
I'm only gonna see this
hidden.
piece.
So yeah, that's pretty awesome.
I got this to fit good. And these are clamped, at least for now, so they all fit together, everything fits, so that's good. And I don't know. Clayton's making some mounts to mount the, we got a Taurus or Mark 8 Ford, whatever, giant, humongous fan that blows lots of air. That was on my GTO, but it didn't really work good. So then I put it in the rafters, saving it for Mike. Basically.
Yeah.
Who's your biggest fan?
Biggest fan. Yeah.
There's our biggest fan. And guess what I'm doing? I'm back to the wiring. So since last video when I left, I went to work and basically ate and came back here. So on with the wiring.
I got some sleep like it. We're cuckoo.
Yeah. It's all for the subscribers.
Trying to make some exhaust systems here.
Downpipes.
Yeah.
Race car stuff. Rob just pointed out that, you know, this is like a plastic cover that comes off. So this can just be taken off. We can have our big ass bullhorn hole here for race mode and for temporary mode. And then cover it up with this when it's in street mode with an exhaust on it. So
Basically.
that will work out great. That was kind of always the plan. I wanted to have both because the open dump tube is pretty beneficial with the old turb ski. Clayton's continuing making the radiator fan brackets, and I'm taping up stuff. Hopefully it's done. I think it's done right this time. At this point, I've gone over the entire harness. Like I said last video, you can't be sure what the heck's going on when it's been 3 years since you've looked at it, but now I think it's pretty good. So time to tape it up, and then it'll be time to basically put it in the vehicle and finish wrapping it, and the couple connectors that gotta get put on.
Okay, I don't know. I mean, can you even see in there?
Yeah.
Okay, so there I got the Marmon flange on. I cut it kind of on an angle. There you go. That helps. Yeah, there you go. That's perfect. Cut it on a little bit of an angle, and then this piece is cut short, so it fits right on there. And as you can see, it's kind of close to the fender right now, like right here. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this home, and that Marmon flange, I have it cut on an angle, but I'll cut it like, I'll sand it with a sander on a little bit more of an angle. It's already on an angle, but it's just not. If I just tilt it a little bit more, that'll give it enough to not touch the fender. And then if you're gonna get a 9, and then if we got like a 90, it'll just go right on there and out. And that'll be perfect. And then, like you said, then cut your hole or cut whatever.
You want to talk a little bit about your rotors and your wheel spacers?
They're good. Been a while.
I guess you
Who
must
put
rub.
those washers in?
Well, it must have been rubbing the caliper somewhere.
Because this must be like newer Mustang stuff. Because it has like a floating rotor, look.
Huh?
It has a floating rotor.
Well, no. The fucking. What do you mean floating rotor?
Like a stock 5 liter doesn't have a floating rotor like this.
Well, there's no wheel on it. That's why it's floating.
A stock 5 liter Mustang has a rotor that goes on with bearings and bolts on and everything.
So with that.
No, it doesn't. The rotor is separate from the hub because this is from like a later model Mustang.
Oh, like
That's-
a 94?
Somebody did a conversion
I
to a
see.
newer style.
Sorry.
Well, to the 5-bolt, right?
didn't
5-bolt,
notice.
yeah.
Yeah.
And you can tell because it's got this. Look at this. Oh yeah. Well, you can't see on yours because you have the.
No, I don't. Sorry, I misunderstood.
Remember when you didn't have that center cap and you were driving around for years with your stock brakes with just exposed grease?
So I can keep an eye on the bearing.
Well, look at this one. It's different. Because
No,
this
that's exactly what
different.
that is. Like
is,
94.
it's a later model Mustang, and they're bigger too.
Bigger brakes, better
Yeah.
They
brakes.
are, yeah.
The only thing was the ball joint angle was.
Oh.
Well, we're not concerned about ball joints right now anyway, so.
Okay, so we're good there with that. I mean, more or less good. Sort of.
A good start. I mean, it looks plausible.
Yeah, little fine tuning, but I have it fitting in there, so when I take it home and I sand it, I can only make it better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if I can get it so that I can tilt it in a little bit more than what it is right now, because right now it's like right up resting against the fender here. So even if you didn't put a 90 and this was just, you know, basically your exhaust pointing down,
It would melt the fender a bit.
no, it wouldn't be the best. I'm just saying. So yeah, that'll work. Yeah.
Cool. I just put the harness in the car, so I'm gonna jam it all through the hole there. Big hole guy.
That's what she said.
Remember first clip of last video, or the video before? Clayton was discouraged.
About what?
When I didn't shoot down your idea, but I suggested I was doing something different. But now,
I don't even remember what your idea was, and I ended up doing it my way.
there you go. That's what's happening.
Oh yeah, that's right.
It'll probably
Do
look
it
better.
yourself then.
Yeah, it'll probably look better the way Clayton's doing it anyway. I just had fabricated this bottom metal piece and I was gonna weld to there, but aluminum's lighter than steel, and
Bolt it to the valley cover.
Clayton's quite the machinist. Oh, the same thing I was gonna
This
do,
isn't
just a
machining.
different method.
There's nothing to do with machining.
Rob got the drain line done for the turbo, you know, into the oil pan.
Rob, where's that black marker?
Over there.
I'll get it for you. And over here, the wires you can see are now coming through the
Can you
firewall.
just hold that aluminum up on that end?
I took the light out of here. Yeah, you can't see shit, but I'll show you once it's more dialed.
Trying to center it. Over there, it's to the edge of the bend.
Gonna look pretty cool.
This is critical.
It is. If it's not centered,
It's gonna make or break this bracket.
we're gonna have to sell the shop if this isn't straight.
You can get fittings that go on to a AN and then you just flare it, right? Do you know what I mean? And then you would have to bend a piece of metal tubing and then go like that.
Got the old fuel regulator mounted. Clayton.
Yeah, we jumped in. I jumped
Got her
in.
done.
I should have had the fittings in place and everything.
And yeah, not a lot of room for another fitting and a hose there. So that's planning on my part. I knew it'd kind of be tight. I just, you know, when you're trying to plan these things, you think there'll be enough room there for a little piece of hose, but evidently not. But we'll figure that out. There really hasn't been too many setbacks. I'm doing the wiring. Got it through the hole there.
I mean, that's a common place.
And
Regulator up front there. I'm just trying to think.
I'll show you just kind of the process I'm going to do here. This is the crank position sensor, 3 wires. I had to splice this together, but first I had to put on the wire covering, sheathing, which is nice and tight. And then on top of that, a shrink tube to finish it. And then, of course, don't forget the shrink tubes on the individual wires for after I solder them. So that's kind of how I'm going to do every wire on here. I'm going to try to stick to this. Some of them have ends on them already, so I might not be able to use this tight of a thing, or I might have to cut them off and redo them. The fuel cell update. It's not in the house. left it at Rob's. We're going to weld that up tomorrow or the next day or sometime and work on putting the fuel pump in there, mounting it in an EFI style fashion.
It's like a Halloween under here.
No, this is a spooky fucking mansion.
It's cobwebs everywhere.
No, I want the filter out underneath, but near the back, right? Because you don't want the dash 8 feed from the tanks to be too long.
That's what I'm saying. You want dash 10 as far as you can,
Basically, yeah.
right?
Well, then do we run this filter up higher?
So then we're gonna go.
Like I can't see the hole from here.
Okay. Plastic hose. Plastic inside hose. Okay. So I'm trying to like. Okay, so then it goes. I mean,
Can I go up to the trunk area?
Well, that's...
I mean, it wouldn't be a big deal if the filter was. I mean, my filter and my whole fuel pump is in the trunk. So
Yeah.
I never said it did.
Yeah, no, it wouldn't be the worst. I
right. So
guess.
why not just have it go right up inside?
Well, we've got to utilize this 60 degrees somewhere.
Okay.
Along the line.
So much sharp metal down here.
Come through this existing hole here.
That looks like a real safe spot.
Huh?
Well, how high is the tank go?
8-10 inches above the floor.
So you could put it right there somewhere,
If it was there.
and then that would just be a straight to a 90 into the.
Yeah,
Yeah, that'll work.
that looks good.
To figure out
And then
how
yeah,
to
it can be
mount
mounted
it
just
somewhere.
something to that. Well, there's a hole on top of there. Probably zipped. I don't know.
Zip tie.
Zip tie. Temporary
So do we want to mark
permanent
this
fuel
hole then?
system.
Sure.
Like it's ready to cut, right?
I think so, because it looks pretty good on that
Can I
end.
roll of tape?
All the way, like.
What were you saying about this hose the other day?
It goes together really nice.
It was a much more enthusiastic glowing endorsement when he said it the first time. But didn't catch it on camera, but yeah, Fragola seems to be some pretty good stuff so far. Not sponsored.
No, I wish. We wish.
Yeah. Big bucks. Fancy PTFE. Fuel system starting to go. Wow. Fuel system, fuel lines. Got the old, can't see it, the Y back there.
Wide back.
Wide back. With the heat shrink on the end, and I think it's a pretty good fit and finish. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I got that one done, the crank one done. It's just gonna be a process of doing more of them, and I'll probably get faster as I go, but maybe not. Yeah, this is actually gonna go behind the water pump, hopefully. I have it pulled away to jam behind there. I don't know if we'll be able to see anything down here. No. But you can see the beginnings of the fuel line going in down here.
That's this one?
Yeah. Okay, here's the.
Fittings.
Well, I got the straight fitting
Okay. Well, I don't know.
and the 90. Or the 90's on there still. But there's a bunch of 90s. We need to get some 90 pipe thread 90-8s, and then we'll go, it'll come off like this. It'll go that way. And then this one will go this, and then this way. Simple.
Yeah, that'll work pretty good.
So then with the two fittings, it'll go kind of like this, and then maybe that or something. like one on top of the other, like that.
Crisscross.
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 Across the streams, man.
And that'll work. And all the other lines, Clayton made all these lines back here. Just one fitting has to go on in the back. And all the fuel lines are done, except for these 2 short ones that we'll have to make.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I covered another wire and things. Yeah. The wiring is gonna be another late night tomorrow, but
Is it on schedule though, or are you?
a little behind. When all that stuff wasn't done that I found out yesterday, that was kind of a kick in the dick. But
What stuff was that? Sorry.
I thought it already had the stuff for the drive-by cable, basically, and it didn't. But here in the trunk, the fuel filter's sticking up, and the return. So it'll just be a small piece of dash 8 going from that to the top of the tank, and then the return. And yeah, I'm tired, so we're gonna go home now.
Good idea.
What a bad man.
Go to bed.
Also tired.
Time for bread. I'm excited for bread for once. Rarely do I enjoy bread, but times like these I do. All right, so we'll see you in the next video, guys. Check you later.
Check you
Thank
later.
you later.